Committee on Dangerous Drugs, this joint meeting is called to order.
On the part of the Committee on Health, the joint meeting is called to order.
Any motion to dispense with the calling of the roll?
To our chairpersons, good morning, everyone. On the part of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, I move to dispense with the calling of the roll. Thank you.
Any second?
Second.
On the part of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, there is a motion to dispense with the calling of the roll. It being duly seconded, there being no objections, then the motion is approved.
On the part of the Committee of Health, is there a motion to dispense with the calling of the roll?
Madam Chair, I move to dispense with the calling of the roll.
Duly seconded, there be
Again,
no
Mr. Chair.
objection. The motion is approved.
Do we have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes?
Mr. Chair, on the part of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, I move to dispense with the reading of the minutes of this meeting. Thank you,
Second.
Mr. Chair.
There's a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and for the approval of the same. It being duly seconded, there being no objection, then the motion is approved. Okay, now, Comsec, can we recognize the members present?
Good morning, Your Honors. Good morning, Chairs. On the part of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, we would like to recognize the presence of Representative Rene Luis Imco of Kabataan Party List and the Honorable Salvador Plato of the 6th District of Bulacan.
Good morning, Your Honors. On the part of the Committee on Health, the following members are present here today. The Representative Brian Paul Lamanzares of the FPJ Panday Bayanihan, Representative Salvador Plato of the 6th District of Bulacan, Representative Jesus JSR Marquez of the 1st District of Aklan, Rene Louis Emco of the Kabataan Party List, Representative Hill Cabarangay Jr. A. Acosta of the 3rd District of Palawan, Representative Henry Waminal Jr. of the Ascenso Pinoy Party List, Representative Richard Gomez of the 4th District of Leyte, Representative Agustina Dominic Ditsetina C. Pancho of the 2nd District of Bulacan, Representative Joseph Kimbiu of the 1st District of Zamboanga del Sur, and Representative Maria Isabel Zagarbaria of the 2nd District of Negros Oriental. That would be all on the part of the Committee on Health, Your Honors. Thank you.
Your Honors, for our resource persons, from the Department of Health, we have Dr. Oriel Cachero. Where are you, sir?
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you. Please raise your hand when your name is called. From the Dangerous Drugs Board, we have Attorney John Elijah B. Banyes and Attorney Maria Florina G. Correg. From the Philippine National Police, we have Police Colonel Fitz Macariola and Attorney Ella Cristina Colangin. From the National Bureau of Investigation, we have Attorney Ross Jonathan Galicia and Dr. Simon Ibert Gazapo. From the Department of Justice, we have State Counsel, Attorney Angelina Di Malanta. From the Department of Agriculture, we have Vera Isabel de la Cruz, the Supervising Science Research Specialist of the Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries. From Sikai Research Center Incorporated, we have Mr. Chuck Manansaria Teresa M. Torres. From the UP National Poison Management Center, we have Dr. Charmaine Oblifias. From the Philippine Society of Cannabinoid Medicine, Dr. Daniel Guzman. From Bauertech Corporation, Dr. Richard Nixon Gomez, and Mr. Rigel R. Gomez. From the Haraya Policy Center, Ms. Leia Fulion, the head of policy and research, and from the UP Institute of Human Rights, Attorney Jessica B. Chica, and from the Biotech Incorporated, Maynardo J. Paras Jr. That's all for now, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Comsec. Do you have opening remarks, Chair? Okay. We now turn the floor to our co-chairperson for her opening remarks.
Good morning, distinguished members of the Committee on Health and Dangerous Drugs, authors, and esteemed guests. I would like to thank those who are in attendance today for giving your valuable time to discuss this important public health measure. Last November 25, 2025, the Committee on Dangerous Drugs and Health jointly tackled 7 House bills on providing access to medical cannabis. During that meeting, the members agreed to consolidate the measures. Authors of the same bills expressed their desire to adopt the House Bill 3864 authored by Representative Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. In lieu of their respective bills, today we are here to tackle the consolidated version of the bill. This measure shall provide access to medical cannabis, recognizing its medical use to treat or alleviate a qualified patient's medical condition or its symptoms. We also keep in mind the safety net, strict regulation, and control mechanisms must be in place to ensure that accessibility to the medical cannabis is not abused. At the heart and core of this legislation is the access of patients, especially in terms of affordability, availability to another form of medical treatment. Moreover, the Chair would like to emphasize that the intent of the measure approved on the third and final reading last Congress, which has been refiled this Congress, is that the access to medical cannabis shall serve as only as the limited exception to prohibited acts, only acts involving cannabis or marijuana under Republic Act number 9165, otherwise known as Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act of 2002. I enjoin everyone here today to have open minds as we work together in considering this significant measure. It is my fervent hope that we have a fruitful discussion which will ultimately redound to achieving universal health care so all Filipinos are guaranteed equitable access to quality and affordable healthcare goods and services and protected against financial risk. Thank you very much and good morning.
Thank you, Chairperson Maceda. Again, we'd like to thank everyone for coming here. No? The status supposedly is that we have consolidated House Bills number 193 by Representative Edvic Yap, House Bill number 367 by Representative Richard Gomez, House Bill number 420 by Representative Miguel Luis Villafuerte, House Bill number 1115 by Representative Tonypet Albano, House Bill number 2861 by Representative Eric Goyap, and House Bill number 3864 by Representative Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. On these versions, okay na tayo because all of the authors have agreed to adopt the same version that was already passed last Congress. We are now left with just one other version, that of House Bill number 317 by Representative Benitez, that has some, how should I put it, newer suggestions, no, which we may consider for this meeting today. So I don't know if the members have been given copies of the bill of Representative Benitez, House Bill number 317. Are you guys saying, do you have copies of it? As they've been given, right? Okay, while waiting for Representative Benitez, we'd like to recognize Representative Brian Poe, no, for his statements.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. While waiting for Representative Benitez, I think if we could go into his version and speak speak about the provisions. I think one of the major points of his version of the bill is the local production and medical cannabis production registration framework, which also takes into consideration the production of local industry for hemp. This is not necessarily present in the previous versions because it has more of an agricultural take on medical cannabis. However, the my colleague wanted to emphasize the fact that we may miss out on a major industry. The global hemp industry is worth billions of dollars. And while this is an agri concern, it is an industry that will be directly affected by the legalization of cannabis in the Philippines, as well as the production of cannabis here in the Philippines. So that's why he put specific provisions on this framework to allow for the production and export. The worry of my colleague is that if we are to pass this in its current version, that we will be subject to being an import-driven nation again, in which we will take care of the needs of constituents who badly need access to medical cannabis, but we are missing out on potentially being an exporter of products and offshoot industries, which is why I asked my colleagues to take a second look at the amendments that are proposed here today, and maybe we can have a healthy discussion regarding it.
Thank you, Representative Po. Well, we recognize the fact that there is an industry out there, and as far as hemp is concerned, but from what I understand, we're trying to slowly open up our, not just our eyes and our minds to cannabis on this issue. That's why we're limiting it to medical cannabis muna on these bills na. So another issue that I may have is that the topic of industrial hemp or agricultural hemp might not be germane to the title of this bill. So it would end up with two different topics that are discussed in one bill, which violates all the rules of lawmaking, diba? Dapat isa lang, isang title, isang topic. So that's again for the consideration of the members present. But before that, our research persons do they have copies of the proposed bill of Representative Benitez? Okay, so maybe we should go first to our resource persons and their comments on the House Bill number 317 while waiting for Representative Benitez. Okay, we go first to Dangerous Drugs Board, DDB.
Thank you, Your Honors. Good morning, everyone. On the part of the Dangerous Drugs Board, Your Honor, the agency, Your Honors, fully support the bill. The bills under consideration, in keeping with the mandate of the agency of maintaining the balance between the national drug control policy of the government and giving access to people with legitimate needs for medications, Your Honor. The only limitation that we have under the current legal framework, Your Honors, is the existing law, Your Honors, which is the Republic Act number 9165, which still considers cannabis as a dangerous drug, Your Honor, and it's not subject for medical or recreational use. That would be all, Your Honors, for the Dangerous Drugs Board. Thank you.
What about the introduction by Representative Benitez of the provisions in his version?
Regarding the introductions, Your Honors, the agency has yet to come up, Your Honors, with the final position on that, Your Honors, because on the last previous two board meetings of the board, Your Honor, this has been presented, Your Honors, the different measures, and the board has yet to come up, Your Honors, with the final position, Your Honor, regarding the matters introduced, Your Honors, by the bill of Representative Benitez, Your Honors.
Okay, thank you, DDB. Pedea?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Your Honors. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency the position is one with it's the same with the Dangerous Drugs Board. We fully support the introduction and eventual passage of a bill giving access to medical marijuana or medical cannabis. As to the introduction, Your Honor, while the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency supports, we are also looking for a strong control measure to be in place. And the House Bill 317 seeks to establish a medical cannabis research and development fund, and as well as a prescription monitoring system. So we believe that the establishment of a medical cannabis research and development fund, and as well as a prescription monitoring system would be a strong would give us strong control measure for the passage of the bill, Your Honor.
Thank you, Pidea.
Would like to recognize the presence of Congressman Caroline Aguiao of the Lone District of Kalinga and Congressman Arlene Ayon of Suerte Party List. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Maceda. The Department of Health.
Good morning, Your Honor. So we recognize that the DOH, FDA, and the Dangerous Drugs Boards holds different areas for regulation with regards to the use of medical cannabis. We believe that there is room for consideration that an office for oversight should not directly be held under the DOH in order to promote transparency, independent action, and accountability. So we believe that there can be the oversight office, or in whatever form throughout the different in the consolidated bill, there can be considered an office that will with members throughout the different agencies who hold regulatory oversight on the use of medical cannabis. Thank you.
Okay, let me be specific on DOH. The proposed bill of Representative Benitez wants an MCO that is attached to the DOH. On the other versions that have already been agreed upon by the other members and the other authors, they want the MCO, or the Medical Cannabis Office, to be under the direct supervision of the DOH. That's a difference. So if you have any comments on that.
So on this matter, we support the use of on the establishment of the office directly under the DOH rather than as an attached agency. Although for the final position of the DOH with regards to the proposal of the Representative Benitez, we have yet to come up with a final position paper for this, and however, upon the completion of the position paper, we will directly coordinate with this committee on the results of the position paper. Thank you.
While waiting for your position paper, can you tell us the difference between an attached agency and an agency that's under directly supervision of the Department of Health?
So for an attached agency, there's greater independence when it comes to the processes that the office can implement when it comes to the direct implementation of the programs within it. However, when the direct oversight is within the department, there is greater control of the Secretary of Health when it comes to the operations of this office. Thank you.
Thank you, DOH. How about the Department of Justice?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. So with regard to the House Bill number 317, and I believe it was our previous position paper during the 19th Congress, that we did not take so much into consideration on the bill itself, but we made it related to other bills. So that's why our recommendation then was to reconcile more on the use of language for the terms for medical cannabis vis-a-vis medical use. However, the same does not pose under 317, and considering that there have been developments from the first joint meeting.
I'm sorry, can you please move the mic closer to your mouth so
Okay.
we can hear it? Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. So, would you like me to, or no? Would you
I'm
like
sorry?
me to repeat? Would you like me to repeat the?
You can just continue, but
Okay.
just speak to the mic kasi hindi namin naririnig.
Okay, thank
Alright,
you,
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Chair. So there, it seems that the it seems that there is no need for reconcile, considering that House Bill 317 is introduced as a new measure separate from the other measures. So while we have provided a comparative measure for the other House bills, allow us to provide a formal position on the House bill itself, especially looking into the developments for the what was it? To the industrial hemp, and as to how it's germane to the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Department of Justice. From the Department of Interior, wala ang DIL. Okay. PNP, Philippine National Police.
Mr. Chair, we fully support the proposed bills, provided there must be a strict regulatory system to ensure that medical cannabis is used solely for compassionate medical treatment and scientific research, considering that medical cannabis is still classified as dangerous drugs. And we also support that there must be one medical cannabis office or center, which shall be under the direct operational supervision and control of the DOH, which powers and functions should be also well defined, and that the policies and procedures on access, dispensation, and monitoring of medical cannabis to ensure that only qualified patients may avail, and ultimately to avoid abuse in the use of medical cannabis, sir. Thank you, sir.
So MCO as an agency or an office under the direct control and supervision of the DOH, not an attached agency. Ang position ninyo.
Yes, sir. Under the direct operational supervision and control.
All right. Thank you, Philippine National Police. How about Attorney Galicia of the National Bureau of Investigation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. With respect to the research and medical use, we support that measure, but insofar as the business side, I think we should not, the government should not be involved in the business of selling drugs. And we believe, no, if what we're trying to do here is to help people who are suffering from diseases that needs medication from this cannabis, it's already been addressed by the previous law. No? Under Section 16, it's already been legislated. The conduct of research, experiments, it's already been legislated. So we don't need to go through the same process. No? All we need to do is the Dangerous Drugs Board has only have to pass implementing rules and regulation, and that's it. No? So it's already been accomplished. Now we don't have to go through this stages process of public hearing and all that. And we have to give credit to the past legislators who passed this into law for their vision and for their hard work. So if it's for medical purpose, we find it acceptable, but the business side, I don't think we agree with that, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, NBI. Department of Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the Department of Agriculture, we are still currently processing the consolidation of comments from the different bureaus and attached agencies, but we have our draft position paper. So if allowed by the committee, the two committees, I would like to read the draft as it is.
Before you read, the versions of the bills that were given to you, we've already had a hearing before on this matter. Wala pa kayong position paper at that time?
Before, sir, wala pa.
Wala pa?
Wala pa.
So until now, you're still finalizing your position
Yes, sir.
paper? It's taking you a long time, DA. Oh. Yeah.
We will,
This is our second hearing about this matter na eh.
yes,
And
Mr.
until now, wala
Chair.
pa kayong position paper.
Yes, sir. We are.
And what
I
you're gonna be
believe
reading is a draft?
Yes, Mr.
No,
Chair.
I don't think you should be
Okay.
reading a draft position
Alright.
paper. It should be the position of your department.
Okay.
No? Sorry,
Okay.
but
It's okay, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, just pass the position
Yes,
paper.
sir.
As soon as we
Definitely.
get it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
UPM, National Institute of Mental Health.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the UP Manila National Institutes of Health maintains its position regarding medical cannabis, opposes the introduction of these bills, specifically emphasizing the strengthening of the compassionate use framework, restricting access of medical cannabis only to research settings, investing in local research, and also avoiding any new regulatory bodies or cultivation programs, as well as making sure to promote public awareness and policy dialogue, as well as ensuring the protection of vulnerable groups.
Did I get it right that you're opposing it?
Yes.
All of the bills that are pending?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, sino pa ba nandito? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Philippine Institute of Traditional and Alternative Healthcare, PITAC.
Good morning po, Mr. Chair. We've already submitted our position paper to the Department of Health. We present no opposition to the medicalization of cannabis, provided that a strict regulatory framework is established with a primary focus on research. We have recommendations on some of the definition of terms in the bills. We have also stated them in our position paper. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Masikhay Research Center. Mr. Chuck Manansala.
Good morning, everyone. We have been supporting all initiatives regarding the bill, but with this inclusion of hemp into the scenario, then we have some thoughts on that. And the Haraya Policy Center, together with Masikhay, we believe that we recognize the strategic importance of Section 5, which separates the regulation of industrial cannabis under the Department of Agriculture. And by defining hemp's utility for textile, food, and especially construction materials as distinct from medical use, the bill opens a path for significant economic development. We support this distinction as it prevents the over-medicalization of a versatile industrial crop, allowing for a more streamlined regulatory environment for Filipino farmers and manufacturers. However, as hemp is also mentioned within the definition of medical cannabis in Section 3, we urge the committee to ensure that any hemp-derived products intended for medical use are held to the same rigorous concentration and certifications as other cannabis-based medicinal products or derivatives. Our goal is to foster a robust industrial hemp sector that provides sustainable alternatives in the construction and textile industries while maintaining the public health safeguards required by international standards. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. UP National Poison Management Center, NPMCC.
Good morning, Your Honor. For NPMCC, our position is that there are already established measures outlining medical cannabis, such as permission for compassionate use. With respect to manufacturing and importation, we do not agree with that part of the bill. But when it comes to the medical use and research, that is the part that we already agree with. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you. Philippine Society of Cannabinoid Medicine, Dr. Daniel Guzman.
Good morning, everyone. So we support any initiative to be able to talk about and open up medical cannabis in this country. Although with the introduction of industrial hemp, should not dilute the talks, but to focus on giving access to patients, because we've seen in other countries around the world that these treatment options are available to patients, and that's simply what we want to happen. So any initiative, we can work with them and to ensure that proper regulations, evidence-based medicine is ensured in all these frameworks, and that prudent and calm minds are at the helm when dealing with this kind of product, because it is, yes, both medicinal and agricultural. It's also a plant at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bauer Tech Corporation, Dr. Richard Gomez.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. We appreciate the health benefits of cannabis. We fully support the legalization of medical cannabis. And regarding House Bill 317, yes, there's a huge industry, global industry on cannabis. By year 2030, it will be a $180 billion industry. If the Philippines can have a tiny portion of that, even 2%, that will translate to over 200 billion pesos in annual industry. And taxes alone would be about 40 billion pesos annually. That is legalization of medical cannabis, the industrialization, and full regulation of the industry.
Thank you, Dr. Richard Gomez. Haraya Policy Center, Ms. Leia Fulion.
Good morning, honorable members of the committee and the chairs of the committee. First of all, Haraya Policy Center strongly supports bills allowing legal access to medical cannabis. These bills are historical steps towards fulfilling our constitutional right to health through a compassionate and regulated framework. While we applaud, however, the creation of the Medical Cannabis Office under the DOH to ensure safe access for patients with debilitating and non-debilitating conditions, we respectfully submit 4 urgent recommendations. First is to simplify the physician accreditation. We hope that we move accreditation entirely to the DOH. Requiring a mandatory DDB watch list clearance creates a sort of chilling effect. To prove that you are innocent, the doctor is innocent, may prevent qualified doctors from actually participating in the medical cannabis field. Second, ensure genuine affordability. The mandate for affordable cost must not be undermined by overly expensive security requirements for facilities, which could lead to corporate monopolies. Number 3, protect product diversity. We must ensure the term pharmaceutical formulation does not inadvertently ban standardized whole plant extracts and tinctures, which are most accessible options for marginalized patients. Number 4 and last one is the inclusive implementation. We formally request that patient advocacy groups be explicitly included in the 90-day consultation process for the IRR. We actually commend the House of Representatives because in several congresses, this August body has approved the Access to Medical Cannabis Act, and we hope that we swiftly pass this bill for patients who are waiting on the wings with urgent medical needs. Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you. UP Institute of Human Rights, Attorney Jessica Chica.
Yeah, good morning, Your Honor, and good morning, everyone. The UP Institute of Human Rights is still currently working on the position paper, since we are also working on the further research on this issue. But we want to emphasize our stance that under this law, the bill that is going to be adopted, we want to emphasize that right to health, right to life, quality of life, and access to health must be and always be included and should be the framework of each bill. And also we want to raise that the medical cannabis bill shall consider the 4 core components of right to health, which is availability, accessibility, acceptability, and quality. We also want to raise that this medical cannabis as a public health matter should be more visible. We should also call for more interaction or more communication and discussion on this matter, sir. And we are in the position, we have the, we believe, the UPIHR believe that it is the mandate of the state to provide the access to this, to the general public. The general public, there should be no discrimination when it comes to access. If this bill will push through and the medical cannabis should be available, the access to this and to access to health by the general public should be always be on the top priority. So thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Chica. Last, biotech, Mr. Maynardo Paras.
Yes, good morning. We in biotech, we fully support the legalization of medical cannabis in the Philippines since this is a very sensitive but important issue. If it's strictly regulated and prescribed by licensed doctors, it could help patients with serious illnesses while preventing abuse. The focus should always be on compassionate care, proper care, and public safety. Thanks.
Thank you. Comsec, why is FDA not present in this? FDA? Oh, yeah. Okay. FDA?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. The Food and Drug Administration acknowledges the intent of the proposed House bills, which aim to provide the right to access medical cannabis as alternative means of medical treatment and to legalize and regulate its medical use for debilitating medical conditions. For the FDA's role in the regulation of medical cannabis on laboratory testing for the analysis of medical cannabis, it should be before its distribution, dispensation, and sale to determine its potency, quality, and safety. So it should be emphasized that in complying with the laboratory testing, packaging, and labeling standards and regulations, medical cannabis should only be in its pharmaceutical dosage forms. With respect to the jurisdiction of the FDA, we respectfully recommend that a provision in the bill express fund source allotment for the laboratory, its manpower, as well as the procurement of the needed equipment, facilities, and other necessary and indispensable resources and machinery. That would be all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Wait, before I recognize Representative Brian po, FDA, sa version ni Congressman Benitez kasi, gusto niya yung licensing and other stuff will be transferred from FDA to the MCO. What is your opinion on that and what is your comment?
Mr. Chair, we would like to clarify po which part of the licensing po yung matatransfer sa DOH. It's the MCC po. So it's for the MCC, sir. We recognize naman din, sir, the transfer of the testing, the laboratory testing of this medical cannabis would be the function of FDA, and then we recognize din po if ever that the licensing will be transferred po to DOH. But I think it should be clearly stipulated in the bill po. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
He proposes kasi a separate licensing system. So, dapat that is inyo, in the other versions, FDA siya, but his versions transfers it to MCO. Anyway, before that, would FDA require significant upgrades for you to be able to siguro perform the tests that would be required for this particular bill?
Mr. Chair, yes, we would need improvement in our infrastructure for the laboratory, enable for us to conduct the testing, as well as the human resources.
Significant ba?
Significant, yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Po?
Yes, the argument of Congressman Benitez's bill is basically that this is a highly specialized industry. And as FDA has stated, they would have to upgrade their facilities to specifically tackle this alone. So by making it an attached agency with the ability to regulate and provide the proper licensing, they would also necessarily have all the equipment and specialists to handle it without having to burden FDA on creating all of this new adding all of these new infrastructures. No, I know that it slows down the process a bit here, but at least you would have an attached agency that's specifically tasked with this. This goes hand in hand with the fact that the argument for why it should be an attached agency and not under the DOH alone is because of its interagency coordinating needs. So, as a regulator, if it were to be a regulator and it were to be upgraded with these facilities, including the licensing, then that means direct coordination with our law enforcement authorities. It also means coordination on a neutral level with the DOH as well as the FDA. So, in a nutshell, because of the industry that it brings and has oversight over, which is argued at hundreds of billions of pesos, it may need to be an attached agency in and of itself. That's basically the argument here.
Okay, Congressman Po, you were arguing na with FDA, they said na kailangan nila additional funds to do this and do that, di ba? But by creating a new office, you start from scratch also. So zero talaga yan. Walang department, walang tao, walang nothing. Parang bago eh. Go ahead, sir.
But Mr. Chair, at least we wouldn't be burdening the FDA with it, with this creation. At least when we create it from scratch, it's truly an industry that's specialized in medical cannabis. There are other countries, I believe, around the world that have a specialization on that, and it's not attached. It's not under the Department of Health. But I do believe that since we'd be starting relatively from scratch anyway with the FDA, it might be better if we start from scratch with its own attached agency.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Ko. Any other members who would like to?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead,
because sa FDA, sila po yung regulatory, sila na rin yung sa analysis, nandun na rin yung, because we're talking about the medical. So, sila talaga yung gumagawa ng mga analysis, and then before dispensing the pharmaceutical, nandun na rin. So, why not na sila pa rin? That's
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Congressman Po.
I think the argument is to also streamline. This is also for the sake of the entrepreneurs and the investors, that it's only in a single attached agency that they have to go to regarding this. Because in the current version, if it's under the DOH, the argument would be they would have to coordinate with DOH and they would also have to coordinate with the FDA. But if it's an attached agency with its own regulatory for licensing and permitting, etc., as well as testing, then as an investor, I only have to go to this attached agency for the authority to produce, which would streamline the entrepreneurial process.
Sir?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Ang problema kasi, pagdating doon sa ganon, yung mga investor na sinasabi, baka drug lord na.
isa lang.
Oh. Yun lang ang, hindi naman ako doktor, pero baka mamaya maging negosyo na.
Mr. Chair, if I may respond. Madam Chair, if I may. Okay. So just to respond, I want to be clear that we're not passing this bill and we're not creating these agencies in order to facilitate the entry of drug lords into the industry. No, there are reputable pharmaceutical companies from other countries around the world who are willing to invest in this industry if it opens up in the Philippines, and that's why we're creating the regulatory framework. No, so that we are bringing in the proper people with the proper credentials, and that we have an agency in coordination with the proper authorities to make sure that we aren't facilitating drug lords in the entry into this industry.
Anyway, Mr. Chair, yung sigarilyo, ako, adik ako sa sigarilyo. Ang tagal na sinabi ng Philip Morris, ang tagal na sinabi ng mga malalaking kumpanya na wala, hindi addictive yan. 66 years old na ako ere pa yung sigarilyo. Ere pa yun. So, kasi kailangan we really medyo konting hinay-hinay dahil napakaraming pera involving this.
Mr. Chair, if
Mr.
I may
Chair.
respond.
Congressman Paul.
Again, we're not, I think the spirit of the bill is to be able to address the medical needs of our constituents, hundreds of thousands of which dealing with epilepsy, with chronic pain. What we're trying to avoid here is, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to give them access to another medical technology. We are not promoting the use of marijuana as a recreational drug. No, we're promoting it as a medical necessity for these people with chronic pains. Now, just to take into consideration the fact that what we're working on here is we're trying to regulate the industry. If we look at the medical industry as a whole, opioids, we're looking at painkillers that are addictive. These are all existing already in the pharmaceutical industry, which is already causing damage. In fact, the argument here is that for many of the painkillers that exist in the market po, it already damages your liver, your kidney, and painkillers start here and they increase as time goes by. With THC, or well, with the medical cannabis that we're arguing here, the benefits of it are that it doesn't cause the same uh, problems within the body, and it also addresses the immediate need of these patients who need immediate care. Yun lang po. Respectfully, I understand your concern. A lot of my friends are smokers and haven't kicked it since. But in this situation, the alternative is highly destructive painkillers, which are addictive in nature as well.
Mr. Chairman.
Before we recognize Representative Ayon, Vice Chair Maceda, please.
Thank you, Congressman Po. Yes, we all agree with the use of medical cannabis, and thank you to the previous authors. It has reached this level. So our only issue is the new introduction of Representative Benitez on the industrial cannabis. Because as we all know, the industrial cannabis is a different animal on its own. It's not the same as the medical cannabis. The production and the physical appearance is completely different. If you see a medical cannabis, you'll immediately know it is the one. But if you see the industrial, the hemp, it looks like an ordinary plant. And it would require a big agricultural land. So it might even compete with our other crops. And it can be, we just use the flower or like a part of that to produce the industrial hemp. But what will happen to the other parts, which is subject to abuse also? So if on my part only, I would like to separate the industrial bill from this one, because this one is already on the last lap of its
Okay.
passing.
If I may respond, Mr. Chair.
All right, go ahead, Nico.
So, I mean, of course, personally, I bow to the wisdom of the committee, no, and this has been through many iterations, and it's on its final leg. Of course, with your suggestion, I will suggest to the proponent of this bill that he file a separate bill, speaking to the industry, which would also tackle our fellow colleagues' concerns here about creating the economic aspect, which is separate from the medical aspect of what we're discussing today. So I'll discuss this with the principal author, and hopefully he'll be amenable to it. But of course, the will of the committee will be what takes precedent.
Thank you, Congressman Po. Congressman Uwaminal.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
After Congressman Uwaminal, we will recognize Congressman Ayon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In relation to what our Vice Chairperson discussed, Mr. Chair, and probably before we proceed on the discussion of whether or not industrialization, that aspect of these bills be included, Mr. Chair. Maybe we can ask representatives from the Department of Justice or any lawyer from our resource persons, Madam Chair, to enlighten us on a potential legal challenge as regards including this industrialization aspect. Because from what I understand, the series of bills that we are talking about right now, they involve providing medicinal access to cannabis, and even compassionate use for medicinal marijuana, and wouldn't including provisions allowing for the industrialization of marijuana and making it easier for our investors to invest in this product, wouldn't it be covered by the rider prohibition in our constitution? And maybe any member of the legal, any lawyer from our resource persons can enlighten us on that, Mr. Chair and Madam Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Nominal. Any resource person who can answer that?
Kasi parang wala na yung sa Department of
since
Justice, Mr. Chair.
She excused herself kaya may ibang meeting din. But yan, tama nga, no? Our laws state that one title and all the other things that will be discussed should be germane to the title of the bill. We cannot have two things being discussed under one title. No? So, whether or not it is germane, it has to be determined din. Congresswoman Ayon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. May I be clarified? Sa Pilipinas ba, may mga studies na tayo, may mga research na talagang yung tinatawag na medicinal cannabis. If I may, kung pwede, under ng Food and Drug Administration, kasi very strict sila eh. Pagka dating sa mga medicines and regulations, talagang walang walang medicines or gamot na makakalabas kung walang certificate of product registration. So, lahat yan dumadaan sa masusing clinical research studies para pwede na siyang sa ilabas, no? So, hopefully, magkaroon tayo ng thorough study and research on this matter. Kasi pagka sinabi nating cannabis, hindi naman lahat, pero marami ding mga biktima niyan. So hopefully, may mga research talagang tawag dito, na talagang mag-prove na ito'y dapat nating gawin dito sa Pilipinas. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Ayon. I'd recognize Dr. Richard Gomez to give information about the studies.
Mr. Chair, Congressman Ayon, the Philippines is limited on the conduct of research on medical cannabis. A special permit has to be given. I understand now it is under PIDEA, but there are a lot of global studies already conducted by huge institutions, academic institutions and pharmaceutical companies on the medical use of cannabis. And again, as I mentioned, November last year during our previous hearing, during the International Invention Summit, where so many countries submitted their inventions, the Philippines sent one invention on the pharmaceutical category, and that is CanCure, the first Philippine-made medical cannabis, and it won Gold Award on the pharmaceutical category and even the grand prize on the International Invention Summit. That is a proud Philippine invention which we cannot do in the Philippines, which we cannot produce in the Philippines yet. So many countries already interested in the manufacture of CanCure, our Philippine-made medical cannabis, just because the law limits us from pursuing the research or from pursuing the production.
Thank you, Doctor. Mr. Chairman, masyadong ganito. Marami tayong mga products na disapproved ng FDA, ng Food and Drug Administration, because the studies, mga study galing sa labas ng bansa, no? Hindi galing sa atin. So, kung ganon, na yung basis natin is yung studies from outside the country, so, wala nang pinag-iba. Kung ang mga products from the Philippines ng studies ay galing sa labas na hindi na rin i-approve ng FDA. So hopefully sana ma-address ito ng FDA kasi kapag ginawa natin yan na pwede pala ang studies outside the country na maging ma-adapt na dito sa Pilipinas. So walang pinagkaiba yan sa lahat ng mga product na pina-approve under FDA na hindi ni-recognize kasi walang research dito sa Pilipinas. So yun lang po ang point ko. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Ayon. Representative Pancho.
Mr. Chair, I agree with my colleagues that any activity of MCOH should be under the supervision and coordination of DOH and DFA. Kasi we have to consider the health sector as a whole. Hindi lang yung protect the investors. Kasi when you say investors, mostly yun profit-oriented yan So hindi na nila natitingnan yung message na we have to protect the industry as well. And I agree with Mr. Richard Gomez na in other countries talaga nag-excel ang Filipinos. In other countries, but sorry to say, we are here in the Philippines. Minsan na-abuse and we cannot control the abuse. Mr. Chair, thank you po.
Thank you, Representative Pancho.
Mr. Chair.
Representative Acosta.
Mr. Chair, it is my firm belief that the Access to Medical Cannabis Act and similar bills have already been in this House, I think, starting 16th Congress, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and now is 20th Congress. So, Mr. Chair, we have exhaustively discussed the pros and cons. The only issue that we are tackling today is whether or not we consider the introductions and the other provisions of Congressman Javi. But I guess the decision of our dear colleagues is to discuss the provisions and the bill of Congressman Javi in a separate meeting, because there would be an assumption that there will be a conflict on the one title, one bill, one title, one ruling policy, Mr. Chair. That is why we have discussed this for several meetings, Mr. Chair. I now move that we approve, subject to style and amendments of this consolidated House bill, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, there's a motion. Inunahan mo ako Okay, Mr. Marquez? Representative Marquez?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Mr. Chair, we are discussing regarding the medical cannabis. Exactly, yung separate ang industrial. So, saan po yung PMA? Because we're talking about the physician's accreditation. Dapat merong physician's accreditation before anything, dapat, di ba? Nasaan po yung PMA, the Philippine Medical Associations, kasi sila po yung umbrella ng mga doktor. Parang wala po yata sila dito. And then,
Representative Aguiao, they already gave their position paper on the matter. They were here in the previous, in the first hearing.
okay,
And they have made the position that they do not support the bill.
so, Mr. Chair, all government agencies supporting the bills, the bills for the medical cannabis, and sana po for approving this bill, it's only ang tanong ko lang na isa po, the production of the cannabis. That's why I was telling the Biotech regarding, because galing po sa Kalinga yung naging international dahil sa produkto nila. But then ngayon hope sa PDEA, PNP, Dangerous Drug Board, sa dami po ng nasa bilibid na kababayan namin hanggang ngayon. Ito po sana din ang titignan natin, the production. Baka ngayon, let's say, ma-approve to, kanya-kanya na lang ang mag-produce nito, magiging industrial. Yun po, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, before I recognize Ryan po, there's a pending motion, no? But just to give you ano po, the bills naman address the strict regulation of production, no? In fact, some even don't discuss the production level. Importation nga ang yung ano na gusto nila na yung medical form na. Yes. Yes po.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. So I was not there before. I'm my first time. And then yung production po, it's nasa ibang bansa. Doon po tayo kukuha.
The production cultivation is for scientific and research purposes po.
So yung pharmaceutical na po ang lalabas na dito sa atin.
Yes, madam.
Mr. Chair.
Representative Po.
Mr. Chair, just some last words before we vote on the motion, because I agree, we've been discussing this for several Congresses. We should move already on this quickly for the constituents who need this access to medical cannabis. But I do want to, I guess, raise the concern that if you look at what happened with our neighbors in Thailand, once it was approved, marijuana really took over as an economic industry. You can see it in every street and every corner. I guarantee you that if this is an agency under the DOH, that the DOH and the FDA will be bogged down by medical marijuana concerns or cannabis concerns. And that's my concern as it being an agency under the DOH. Whereas if it were a separate attached agency, it would be able, DOH and FDA would not be necessarily bogged down by the rapid growth of this industry. That's one. On the second point regarding the hemp industry, I understand the position of our colleagues, and I agree. It may even be for the best that it has its own bill with its own framework to be tackled in a separate committee, because it seems to be more aligned with crop diversification and the protection of Filipino farmers and industry. So that might be in Committee on Agriculture concern. No, so I understand where our colleagues are coming from. But I want to also point out that once we let the floodgates open, that the industry may miss the opportunity to create this industry locally. And while I know that the economics is not the spirit of what we're discussing here, the spirit of what we're discussing are the medical concerns and needs of our constituents, which I agree needs to be passed immediately. But I would be remiss in my responsibility as a legislator to not bring up the examples of what has happened in Thailand and in other countries that have missed the opportunity to take care of the industries that could have been developed simultaneously with this bill. So again, I agree with our colleagues. Let's get this passed here in the House, but hopefully we can take these considerations into further discussion privately amongst our colleagues.
Thank you. Okay na, Madam?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Siguro sa PMA, you have to separate meeting dapat sa kanila so that they can understand what's the really ang alam nila, it's a local ang cultivation and everything, and I don't know if they know that it's international pinanggagalingan, it's gonna be importation.
They already gave their position paper. I'll give you a copy po para you can go over it na. And in fact, other resource persons also opposed the bill. So, but here we are right now. We're trying to ease up lang the opening of this thing. Hindi natin to binibigla, hindi natin because we will be meeting a lot of resistance also if we do that. And the only way that we could address the needs now is to pass it in its version. That's why pa-agree na po natin yung most of the authors as to what version should be passed. Pinaka medyo strict nga. But here we are with the issue on the version of Congressman Benitez na mas may konting siguro other provisions na gusto niya masali din. I wish he was here to properly defend it, no? But there is already a pending motion. It has been duly seconded, no? That we approve the bills and its current version subject to style. Any objection? Any objection? There being none?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I am not objecting.
Yes.
But, these bills have been passed in the different Congresses already. And in the last Congress, we worked on this extensively together with the different organizations, with different government organizations, and it has been passed already at the committee level. So I'm hoping, Mr. Chair, today you'll be able to vote on this, and let's take this, let's push this bill. Let's take it a step at a time, and hopefully it reaches the Senate. If you remember, last Congress, Mr. Chair, we had a very short discussion in plenary between myself and Representative Erwin Tulfo at the time, who is now in the Senate. So we're hoping that if we'll be able to push for this, Mr. Tulfo wanted to pass this already. So ngayon na nasa Senate siya, baka pwede niya tayong tulungan na ipasa ito. Anyways, what we are after here is the passing of the use of medical cannabis. Let's focus on the right to health, no? Para sa purpose na to. And let's see how effective this law will be. And then pag-usapan, just in my understanding in the past discussions with the different agencies, ang pagkakaintindi ko, iba yung medical cannabis, iba yung variety at saka yung sa industrial hemp. Although they belong to the same, parang aso yun eh. Parang yung aso yun. But iba lang yung genetics ng sa industrial hemp at saka sa medical cannabis, no. Once this bill becomes a law, hopefully in the future, let's see how importante kasi dito yung disposal, no? Yung dispersal, at saka yung regulation. Once that's perfected, slowly maybe we can move on to the industrial side of hemp. But for now, allow this committee to pass the different bills, and hopefully let's push for this in the Senate. I think it's just about time. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair. Thank you, Representative Gomez. Representative Brian po.
I agree with the stand of our colleague. We really need to get this passed in the 19th Congress, and even before that, I believe in the 18th Congress, Senator Grace Poe was already saying that she was in favor of it. I hope that we can finally get this done. With that being the spirit, I won't anymore read the sponsorship message of my colleague, but if I could have this submitted into the record, that would be much appreciated.
And we will take the sponsorship speech as explanatory note. Okay. Sige. We'd like to recognize the presence of Representative Laarni Roque from the 4th District of Bukidnon. There's a motion, duly seconded, no objection, right? So the motion is approved.
Mr. Chair, I also move that all members present here, if they, with their permission, with the permission also of the authors, be co-authors of the said measure.
I second that motion.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Okay. There's a motion to include all members present as co-authors of the bill. Any
Second.
objection? There being no objection, then the motion is approved. Okay. Any other matters? On the part of the Dangerous Drugs Committee. Oh, wait. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn this
second.
committee meeting.
There's a motion to approve. It's being seconded. No objection. On the part of the Dangerous Drugs Committee, then the meeting is adjourned.